Declassifying Britain's most secretive Black Ops unit. You're probably familiar with the British Special Air Service, popularly known as SAS, or the Special Boat Service, SBS. Both of these units are well known for carrying out top priority missions globally. However, these units have a secret sibling that most people haven't heard of before, known as the Special Reconnaissance Regiment, or SRR. This unit is very similar to the America's Intelligence Support Activity. The SRR operates in the shadows, and they're responsible for some of the most elite missions that the British government wants to keep out of the public eyes. Today, we will be declassifying the SRR, and we'll see what makes these guys so good at what they do. The Special Reconnaissance Regiment is a highly secretive special forces unit within the British Army that conducts covert surveillance and intelligence gathering operations. While not as well known as elite units like the SAS and SBS, the SRR operates in the shadows and undertakes classified missions around the world. The SRR was formed in 2005 from the amalgamation of the Covert Surveillance Unit known as the Intelligence Corps 14th Intelligence Company, also called the DET, and selected members of the SAS and SBS. The 14th Intelligence Company, named the DET, was originally formed in 1973 during the Northern Ireland Troubles to conduct covert surveillance operations against the IRA and other paramilitary groups. Based out of the County Fermanagh, Northern Ireland, the unit recruited heavily from the Intelligence Corps and specialized in planting bugs and tracking devices, monitoring communications, conducting mobile surveillance of targets, and gathering intelligence. Operatives from the DET typically operated undercover, blending into the local population. They utilized technical surveillance equipment and expert stalking techniques to monitor terrorist suspects over extended periods, providing real-time intelligence to the British security forces. Over the years, the unit successfully uncovered numerous IRA arms caches and foiled many planned attacks. In the late 1980s, the DET began deploying outside of Northern Ireland to conduct surveillance operations in support of UK Special Forces. The unit assisted the SAS during the Lockerbie bombing investigation and later tracked Serbian war criminals to Bosnia during the Balkan conflicts in the 1990s. When the Special Reconnaissance Regiment was formed in 2005, the DET provided the framework and specialized surveillance capabilities for the new unit. Around 140 veterans of the 14th Intelligence Company transferred into the SRR, bringing with them decades of institutional experience in covert intelligence gathering operations. The SRR also absorbed the Special Forces Support Group, an SAS unit focused on covert surveillance in counter-terrorism operations. Personnel were recruited from all branches of the British military, including the SAS, SBS, Parachute Regiment, and Royal Marines. Only the most experienced operators with advanced surveillance and fighting skills were selected. The SRR set up its headquarters alongside the SAS at Stirling Lines Barracks, Creedon in Herefordshire, England, but the unit maintained an air of secrecy even within the British Special Forces community. Very little information was released publicly about the SRR structure, capabilities, or activities. While technically considered a Tier 1 Special Forces asset, the SRR has a different role than elite combat units like the SAS. The regiment specializes in close target reconnaissance, covert surveillance, and providing real-time intelligence to guide the operations of other Special Forces assets. Rather than directly engaging and eliminating targets, the SRR focuses on stealthily developing pattern-of-life intelligence through observation and various technical means. The unit motto, Reconnaissance Through Stealth, reflects the SRR's preference for operating discreetly in the shadows. Shortly after its founding, the SRR was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan to conduct surveillance operations against insurgent networks and high-volume terrorist targets. The regiment had continued to operate globally over the past 2 decades, providing covert intelligence support to British military operations and counterterrorism efforts. Yet, despite its extensive involvement in active conflict zones, the SRR has remained veiled in secrecy. Very little concrete information has emerged publicly about the unit's organization, recruitment, training, and special activities. The SRR's top priority missions and successes remain hidden in the shadows. While the SRR remains highly secretive about its organizational structure, it is believed the unit comprises approximately 200 to 250 personnel. This is similar in size to an infantry company within a regular Army battalion. The SRR is based out of the Special Forces Support Group facility at Stirling Lines, Herefordshire, alongside the 22nd Special Air Service Regiment. However, the SRR maintains its own separate headquarters, training areas, and support infrastructure. The regiment reportedly contains several operational squadrons, each with a specialized function such as technical surveillance, human intelligence gathering, counterterrorism, and direct action. There are also support squads focused on intelligence analysis, training, logistics, and communications. But just like other Special Forces units, recruitment into the SRR is extremely difficult, with selection attrition rates over 90%. Recruits undergo a grueling selection process, testing their physical endurance, observational skills, ability to operate undercover, and pain tolerance. Those who pass selections are then put through an intensive operational training phase lasting around 6 months. The training covers core competencies like marksmanship, tactical movement, close quarters combat, hostile environment driving courses, and trauma medicine. Advanced training for SRR operators includes surveillance techniques, covert entry methods, installing concealed cameras and bugs, lockpicking, photography, videography, stalking, vehicle tracking, operator tradecraft, and utilizing technical surveillance equipment. Linguistics in the SRR undergo language training in strategically important languages like Arabic, Pashto, Farsi, Russian, and Mandarin. They regularly engage in immersion courses to gain language and cultural proficiency for operations in specific regions. The SRR is also one of the few British Special Forces units to incorporate female soldiers into operational squadrons. Women in the SRR are trained to the same standards as their male counterparts. They conduct surveillance operations, provide intelligence analysis, participate in direct action missions, and serve as vehicle drivers, among other roles. Training within the SRR is constant to maintain razor-sharp operational proficiency. The regiment frequently engages in realistic scenario-based exercises across urban and rural environments in the UK. Joint training missions are also conducted with allied nations to bolster interoperability. The SRR operators train to blend into any setting from crowded cities to remote wilderness. They become masters of discreetly tracking targets on foot or in vehicles without being spotted. Every SRR soldier is a specialist in utilizing cover, concealment, and guile to conduct persistent surveillance without being detected. The SRR also maintains a robust counterterrorism capability. Operators receive advanced instruction in crisis response tactics, close quarters battle, breaching tactics, sniping, military working dog handling, and other direct action skills. This enables the regiment to rapidly transition from intelligence gathering to lethal surgical strikes. Through relentless training across the complete spectrum of covert surveillance and precision strike operations, the SRR has developed into one of the most capable strategic intelligence assets available to the British military and intelligence community. Since its founding, the SRR has been extensively involved in British military operations around the world. The unit played a key role in Iraq and Afghanistan, conducting relentless surveillance and direct action missions against insurgent networks. SRR operators dress like locals and set up observation posts near enemy compounds, tracking the movements of high-value targets for days or weeks. The intelligence gathered was used to launch precise raids by SAS hit squads to capture or eliminate key insurgents leaders. Working alongside the Special Boat Service, the SRR utilized drones, covert cameras and directional microphones to monitor Taliban activities in remote regions of Afghanistan. The regiment helped develop patterns of life, dossiers on bomb makers and opium traffickers by relentlessly watching their daily routines. SRR operatives installed tracking devices in Taliban vehicles and inside their weapon caches. They trapped insurgent phones and computer networks to monitor communications. Fake checkpoints were set up to covertly fingerprint suspected bomb makers. These intelligence puzzle pieces were gradually pieced together for deadly effect. However, the regiment's surveillance tactics occasionally had tragic consequences. In July 2005, the SRR was monitoring several individuals erroneously suspected of being involved in London's transit bombings. An SRR team tracked Brazilian national Jean Charles de Menezes onto a subway train, leading our police units to believe he was a suicide bomber. De Menezes was shot 7 times by police, only to be found innocent later. The SRR's involvement in this mistaken killing generated immense controversy, but the government refused to disclose details, only admitting that unidentified special forces were assisting the counter-terrorism operation. During the Libyan civil war in 2011, around 24 SRR operators deployed secretly into the country to coordinate airstrikes and provide combat training to anti-Gaddafi rebels. The regiment's assistance helped topple Gaddafi's regime. However, the UK government initially refused to acknowledge its ground role. On June 27, 2006, a joint operations known as Operation Ilias was carried out by a 16-man unit composed of members from C Squadron of the Special Boat Service and the SRR. The objective was to covertly apprehend 4 insurgent leaders who were hiding in compounds on the outskirts of the Sangin province. On the way back to their Land Rover vehicles, they were unexpectedly ambushed by an estimated 60 insurgents. The team found cover in an irrigation ditch after one of their vehicles was disabled by a rocket-propelled grenade. Immediately, they requested additional support while holding off the intense insurgent assault. The Helmand Battle Group had not been informed about the operation prior to its execution, leading to a delayed response. A platoon of Gurkhas forming a quick reaction force was dispatched but also fell into a separate insurgent ambush. During the engagement, a member of the SBS sustained several injuries. And after a prolonged firefight that lasted for about an hour or two, the combined efforts of Apache attack helicopters, the Gurkha Quick Reaction Force, and the 16-man unit, supported by a US A-10 Thunderbolt aircraft and 2 fighter jets, enabled them to disengage from the enemy and return to the nearest forward operating base. During the intense gunfight, 2 of the 4 targeted insurgent leaders were killed, while the remaining 2 managed to escape amidst the chaos. However, upon reaching the forwarding operating base, it was discovered that Captain David Patton of the SRR and Sergeant Paul Bartlett of the SBS were both missing. Captain Patton was assisting his wounded colleagues when he was shot and killed, while Sergeant Bartlett went missing during the fierce firefight. In response to their disappearances, a company from the Parachute Regiment embarked on a Chinook helicopter to search for them. The bodies of the missing personnel were located and they were quickly recovered by operators from the British Parachute Regiment. But this didn't deter the SRR. In Syria, the SRR reportedly carried out cross-border surveillance missions against Islamic State militants, at times becoming locked in firefights with enemy patrols. Digital surveillance equipment and female SRR operators infiltrated ISIS-held territory to track terrorist leaders. The unit has also undertaken discrete missions in Eastern Europe to monitor Russian military activities and gather electronic intelligence. These highly secretive operations along Russia's border significantly escalated after Moscow's annexation of Crimea in 2014. While the SRR often provides a critical intelligence edge, its shadowy methods have fueled controversy. Human rights groups have accused the unit of being involved in covert rendition programs and torture of terrorism suspects. However, with few details ever confirmed officially, the full history of the SRR's classified global operations remains unknown. The UK government maintains tight secrecy over its most covert special forces missions. What is clear is that the Special Reconnaissance Regiment has developed into a globally feared surveillance and intelligence gathering force capable of merging cutting-edge technology with expert human operator tradecraft. The SRR functions as the hidden eyes and ears of British Special Forces, helping guide lethal precision strikes like a sinister guardian angel. For nearly 2 decades, the unit has undertaken secret missions of national importance, leaving very little traces of its presence. The full scope of the SRR's activities continues to remain veiled in secrecy and speculation. What is your opinion on the British SRR? Let us know in the comments.